All right. There we go. Okay. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Am I live? Am I not live? Good evening. How is everybody doing today? Too funny. Too funny. I gotta tell you, I woke up today. I slept great last night. Absolutely slept great. And I woke up and I was like wiped out today. I'm like, what is going on? Um, so I ended up picking up some sinus meds, and I took one of those, and I had like a slight headache, and it was like really dragging me down. And I took one of those. And, no, it wasn't allergies, JJ. No, no, it was more of a sinus headache. Um, yeah, I was in the first video I made. I was just not. I didn't feel right. I can definitely tell you that. I definitely did not feel right. But I took that sinus meds, and headache went away. It felt better. And I only took one dose, and it only supposed to last like 4 hours. And so that was quite a while ago. So it's definitely worn off by now. But yeah, it was weird. I was just like, because I slept fantastic last night, so it's really a weird type of situation. But yes, that's. Oh, I'm gonna. So one of the things I was going to talk about. Well, we'll get into all that in a minute. We'll get a bunch of stuff I want to talk about, but so anyway, before we get into anything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you to please be decent in the chat, no racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, you will definitely be booted out of here because we are not going to have it. So I'm asking you to please just be kind. We got those awesome moderators lit up in blue. They will not put up with it. So, and the people that know that they're going to come in and they're going to try their little nonsensical games because they're children. And so then they get spanked like children need to be spanked and corrected sometimes. It's just kind of how it goes. But so first thing I wanted to let you know is so I had gone out and I stopped by the bee place today. In my game plan, I checked on the queen this morning to see if she was out. She was not out yet, and I'm like, okay, well, all right. So just put her back and did that. And so I stopped by because I had questions, lots of questions. So I'll tell you what I so I stopped by the bee place, and the people there are just they're amazing. I mean, they are amazing. They had let me borrow the head thing that you see me wearing in the videos with dealing with the bees. That's a borrow job. That's not mine. I have one ordered from them. The jacket and the hood. Okay, so I have that coming. It's just not here yet. So I had stopped in there today because I wanted to ask them some questions, but also I wanted to let them know, I'm using your thing, so just letting you know, and we're gonna go, and they're like, oh yeah, yeah. They were like, no worries, you're good, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I said, so I said I checked. I have not gotten stung yet. Nope, nope, nope. I have not gotten stung yet. Yeah, so I talked to them today, and they were, and I said, yeah, the queen's still in the thing because I checked today, and they're like, oh no, she goes, you got to let the queen out today. You got to let her out today. And I'm like, okay. And she says, now you could poke a hole in the sugar cube, and get her out that way, or you can take the there's a she's in a box, and I took what I did, and that's what I told her. I said what I'm going to do, and she's like, oh yeah, yeah, that'll work too. Just pried the staple off, and then pulled that back, and then she was free. And I basically I like put her over like this one was trying to get her to go in, and she wasn't. She was still in that little cubicle, so I went like that, and she went, and she was in. So. Um, that's the way I did it. I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but she's definitely in the hive now. And now her job is to lay eggs. So I put the other tray back in as well. And so now what they'll end up doing is, you know, she will be laying eggs, laying eggs, laying eggs. That's her job. The bees will take care of her. So the other questions that I had, and I'll explain this to you, and then we're going to get into topic. I promise. I just wanted to explain this to you so you guys knew. So the first box that they're in right now, okay, what'll happen is when 7 of those 10 trays are full, yeah, right, I tapped it, exactly. 7 of those 10, when 7 are full, I put the second box on. I take one of the trays out of that first box that have, stuff on it and put it into the second box. Okay. And then I take the empty slot from the top box and put it into that box. And what that does is it lets them know that they need to go up to the second level. Now, the queen will go in the first level and the second level. She will work both of those levels. Both of those levels are for laying eggs, doing all that type of stuff. Yeah, we have a topic. Okay, just give me a second, buddy. Got to give me a second. I'm explaining this first. Um, does the queen survive from year to year? What they will do, a good question, Fortune Cookie. They make more queens as well. So when the queen starts to get older, they will have a new queen in process. They'll have like 4 different things for queens, and whatever queen comes out first will kill the other queens that are growing. So yeah, the new queen they'll produce their own queens. So that's it, just like England, exactly. So yeah, the other heirs will be murdered. But anyway, so the first 2 boxes are um, just for larvae and that type of stuff. Okay. Once they get going on that third box, then you put in it's a metal grating thing that doesn't allow the queen to get up into the third box. The third box is strictly going to be honey. That's the bee's honey. Okay. So this is all information I'm figuring out, guys, because like I said, I'm not, the awesome beekeeper. I don't know squat, right? So the third box is theirs. Once that third box starts getting full, okay, then you start a fourth box. The fourth box is my honey, okay, that I can take and use and stuff like that. So reality is I probably will not get much honey, if any honey, this year because they are going to be really, really busy. Pundit, right? Busy bees. So they're going on and creating and building. That's what their job is this year. So next year, we get into next year, they got all that squared away. Then it's just about making honey. And then the queen is doing her thing in those lower levels, which we don't screw with those lower levels. So that's kind of how that goes. Most likely next year, and I obviously have to talk to my group yet, and some of them are going to be watching this live stream, I'm sure. We may have to start 2 new hives next year. So you want to, keep things going. I would eventually like to have maybe 6, 7 hives. That's the game plan, and that way, if you end up losing a hive for whatever reason, that you're going to be okay. So, but yeah, so it's fun, it's interesting, it's really cool. I did do a video on what I did today with the queen this afternoon. So that video you'll see tomorrow night. That'll be tomorrow's 7 o'clock video. So just I did not get the fence yet, Okie Forge. Waiting on that. So I'm hoping that that will get that'll get in. And the other question that I had asked, all right, how long do I feed them the sugar water, right? So I mean that's a good question. You got to know how long you got to keep doing that. And she was telling me because it's a husband wife team to do it, and they have their daughters involved. It's really cool. Good family. And they were telling me then what you do is you have to feed them the sugar water because they're going to be very busy in their building. They're building comb, and the queen's going to be busy laying eggs. So she said until they get to that point where that third box is full with honey, you keep feeding them the sugar water. And I had a full jar, and you'll see it in the video tomorrow that was there this morning. And then that was already down like that much today. So they're rocking. So like now, so how long before you can harvest honey? It depends on how busy they are and how much they produce. So if I get up to that fourth box, So it's 2 to 3 weeks for them to get the first box squared away. Second box, another 2 to 3 weeks. Third box, however long it takes them to get the honey in that. And then, you just kind of go from there. And so the fourth box is going to be for me to use. So once, they get to that point, now, will I probably tap into it a little bit to get some, just, to have my own honey? A little, but I'm going to focus on making sure that they're safe, they're squared away, and they're taken care of. So, but, you know, really, really cool. It's a really cool thing. Really happy about it. I can't wait to get the fence in to get that up so that they have some kind of safety. Really important as well. And we're just going to go from there. And we're going to get it squared away and make sure the bees are safe. And the other thing she told me. So I had on the concrete blocks. Okay. She said, what you have to do. So here's your concrete blocks, your beehive sitting on top of it. You have to tilt that just a little bit towards the front because if it rains or something, you don't want that water getting into the hive. You want it to be able to flow off. So I just took a little bit of piece of wood and put it in there. I got to get a little bit bigger piece, and I know what I'm going to, have to do. I just didn't have it today back there when I was doing it. So I'll just get another little piece of wood in there and do that. So plans for intruding bears at the hive. Yeah, it's 1911. Yeah, exactly, JJ. Yeah, if they come a calling, they're going to meet Mr. 1911. So, but hopefully, like I said, we'll get the fence in there. I'll probably do some like motion lights, some stuff like that as well down the road here. We'll have to see how it all goes. But, right now, I don't expect to get honey this year. So that's not the goal. Oh, we're going to have so much honey this year. It'll be great. That's not the goal this year. So I mean, we're looking at down the road getting, they call it an extractor. So you can extract the honey, be able to use the beeswax as well. So it like I said, it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting, and hopefully it's successful, and hopefully the bees survive. I'm going to make sure, like I said, that they're taken care of. They're right here. I'm here all the time, so should not be a problem. If I do go up to New York for any length of time, if I go up there, I'm going to go up there for like a week. If I go up to New York, and Steve is here. So Steve would be able to, step in and do what he needs to do with the bees as well from that point of, so that's what's going on with that. All right. So what do we got? 288 in the chat. We're at 113 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And I do appreciate that ahead of time. It really does make a big, big difference, and very much appreciated. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. And, when are you going north? Well, I'll answer that in a second, Jen. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon for all notifications as well. Jen, I don't normally announce when I'm traveling, just because, for several reasons. And so, when I do leave, the cool thing is now, where's my drink? Oh, my drink is right here. As always, my green tea is right there. When I do go, the cool thing is that Steve's going to be here to be able to watch over the bees. And OBSEC, exactly. You don't give people information of what you're doing. So, but one day I will be here, and then all of a sudden I will be in New York. This year, realistically, if I make 2 trips to New York, that's going to be a lot, in all honesty. I'm not going to be going back every month. That's not going to happen this year. There's too much that needs to be done down here that I got to take care of down here. So, I'm going to, like I said, and it's a long drive. Yes, it is. But I do plan on getting up there. It's been a while, obviously. It's over 6 months right now. And I definitely want to see my kids. I miss my kids. Looking forward to seeing Mom, seeing Becky, and, giving everybody a hug and all that good stuff. So, yeah. So anyway, all right, let's get into a couple things. One of the things I want to talk about tonight, okay, over-the-counter meds, I think is one of those things that we kind of overlook sometimes, and it's not talked about a whole lot. And I think it's something that's very, very important. You know, primarily what I use if I have, generally a headache of any sort, I generally just use Advil. That's what I use. Okay. Aches or pains, I use Advil. So I don't use it all the time, but at the progress at your homestead is awesome. Well, thank you, Terrence. I appreciate that, man. I do appreciate that. Um, yeah, that's right. Don't tell us until you come back. Well, you would see me because I still have to live stream. So, you would see me in New York doing my live streams in New York. But anyway, what was I going to say? That's what I use. So, it's not something that I use every day, but it's something that I have in case I have stocked up on cold meds, all kinds of different things, rubbing alcohol, you name it. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff, a lot of over the counter stuff, just in case, and I think that you have to look at different aspects. Like one of the things I definitely stock up on, I basically take three things, right? I take zinc, I take vitamin D3, and I take vitamin C. And that's a good thing to me because those are healthy things that are going to help you, especially guys. If you live in the Northeast, you definitely need to be taking your vitamin D3. Especially with the lack of sunshine at certain points of the year, I think it's really really important. So you know, but that's something that I think is really overlooked a lot. I think that you better be stocked up on a couple of under the counter too. Well, we're not going to talk about that, Mac. We won't talk about doing anything illegal because heaven forbid that you would do anything that wasn't 100% above board. But anyway, you have to you have to be ready, and having things like I said, again, when the time comes, which it will come, there will be a time, uh, you're going to have what you have. And I think that's important for people to remember that. And if you are stocked up on things and you have a good supply of things, it's going to help you in the long run. And canning jars for those under the table goods. Canning jars are a good thing, absolutely a good thing. So, knowing again what your wild edibles are, um, knowing what your medicinal plants are, getting that information down, getting books on that, what to harvest in your area. Everybody's area is different. I mean, what we're going to be able to collect here in West Virginia is going to be completely different than what you would be able to collect in Arizona. It's not going to be the same plants. Now, there are plants in Arizona that have medicinal purposes as well. You need to know what those are. Just like here in West Virginia, you need to know, okay, what do I need to look for? The woods are going to provide, guys. I mean, the woods have provided for years and years and years. Did you see what the New York governor wants to ban smokers in New York? I hadn't seen that. I hadn't seen. They're lunatics. They are lunatics. Here's what one of the things, like I said, with what I wanted to talk about in this stream today. There is a tremendous amount of manipulation going on constantly. A lot of distractions. Okay, a lot of distractions. They're doing things behind the scenes. A lot of these things, a lot of these things are done uh, like closed session meetings after midnight. That's not the majority of people making that decision. That's a small group of people pushing through whatever the agenda is. And the agenda is generally to exert more control over you. You have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. What is acceptable? What is not acceptable? And then I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Okay. I got an itch. I'm sorry. I got to scratch it. Um, when I was in New York, still living in New York, they went ahead and passed these couple bills. Again, dead of the night. Nobody knew what was coming. The one was that you had to register your rifle. If you had a long gun, you had to register it. Okay, they came up with this law. Now, I don't know what the compliance rate of that was. So, but basically, from that point on, if you went to go and buy any kind of rifle in New York State, it was automatically being registered. So if you went through a registered gun broker in New York State, that's what would happen. That would be registered. They would know what you have and that type of thing. They also outlawed high capacity magazines, right? If you guys remember that, I don't know if you, some of you are obviously not from New York, so you don't know what games that they were playing in New York, but they outlawed high capacity magazines. In New York State, like if you went, okay, so here's an example. If you went, and the only reason I know this is because a friend of mine won an AR-15. They won an AR-15 at a gun raffle, and so they had brought it home. And so I'm trying to take the mag out, right? I'm trying to take the mag out. Well, they're pinned in now. They got them pinned in. It's a 10-round magazine. You are only allowed in New York State to have 7 rounds in a 10-round magazine. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, so it's 10-round magazines. You're only allowed to have 7 rounds in that. In those AR-15s, if you're buying them in New York State, the magazine's pinned in, so you get like 1 mag. You can't change it out. You can't do it. Now, could you modify it? Could you change it? Of course you could. I mean, if you know what you're doing. I'm not saying that you should. So I'm never going to tell you to do anything illegal. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you that, things can be changed if you need to change them. So anyway, so they passed these laws in the middle of the night. And so the compliance rate, okay? So people, some people registered their guns and some people never did. Okay. Here's my rule of thumb. Okay. Let's look at Nazi Germany. We'll use Nazi Germany. I love to use Nazi Germany because they use a lot of the same tactics that Nazi Germany used back then. They're using them now. Okay. Registration this is strictly my opinion. Registration leads to confiscation. Why do I say that? Because if some point down the road they decide to say, okay, yep, no, you can't do this anymore. You can't buy these. Nothing's grandfathered in. We're taking them all away, right? Well, they have a list. They have this list. These are all the people that registered these guns, and they're going to come to your house and they're going to say, where's that rifle? Give it up, right? So if you have registered your weapon, they're coming for it eventually. And that's strictly my opinion. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I know this is what's going to happen, but you look at history, and history has a tendency to repeat itself. These things do happen. So I'm not saying it's going to, but if they don't know what you have, they can't take away what they don't know. That's another thing that I'm going to say. So I know a lot of people. I feel better knowing that the criminals are carrying less rounds too. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're abiding by everything. I'm trying to figure out the way to say this. But there's opportunities out there to get what you need to get. Stock them away, and to me, it's, since I've been in West Virginia, I'll give you an example. I did buy a 45 1911. JJ alluded to it earlier, talked about it. I did buy a 45 1911. Wanted one, ended up picking one up down here. Bought it through Rural King, right? So, had to do the background check through the federal government type of thing. That whole thing. And I passed, right? So no problem. I got my pistol. And so I have that, right? I like that gun. I've shot it before. A buddy of mine had them and I really liked it. And so I'm like, yeah, it's definitely something that I wanted to have. Nice stopping power, good gun to have. And we have black bears out here, as I've told you guys. And, that's what I picked up. So they know I have that, obviously. But even those background checks should be illegal. Oh, I don't disagree, Okie Forge. We shouldn't have to get permission. We shouldn't have to have permission to get things that we need to have. That's our God-given right to have. That's definitely, I believe in that 100%. Now, um, as far as my thinking was always this, and people ask me, did you register your guns when I was in New York? And my answer was always the same thing. I don't have any guns. Okay. Because I always felt that if it got to the point to utilize what I had, the gun laws were not going to matter anymore anyway. And I'm not saying I had anything, and I'm not saying that I didn't have anything. I'm just saying that when it comes to if you had something that now they have deemed illegal, and if you haven't registered them, uh, when that point comes, you know, when you need to use that for a situation, uh, the gun laws are not going to matter anymore anyway. So, but you know, yeah, not one single law-abiding citizen has committed a crime, and they don't. And that's the ones that they want to take your weaponry away from, law-abiding citizens. And I don't get that because the bottom line is this, okay? The criminals are going to do whatever they're going to do anyway. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. So they don't care about any laws or you'll go to jail and the threat of punishment and all this type of stuff, okay? It's like what I will tell you right now, like when I go up to New York, I will not take my pistol with me. I can't, because I don't have the permit to carry in New York State. So I don't take my pistol with me when I go to New York, which sucks. I'll be honest with you, it absolutely sucks. New York State is a joke, in my opinion. They hamstring law-abiding citizens, and the criminals will always be having what they need to have. But don't think I don't go to New York unarmed. I would just put it like that. I would just leave it at that. I'm going to be able to protect myself legally in the state. So, but unfortunately, I won't be carrying in New York State. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I carry every single day. I carry every single day wherever I go, whatever I do. I always have my pistol with me because you never know. It is a deterrent. It is a tool. It is there for a reason. Okay. I have it for a reason. And the number one reason why I carry every day, folks, I'll tell you why, because I can. It's my God given right to be able to. And thank goodness I now live in a state where I can do it without fear of being targeted, prosecuted, gone after when I've done nothing wrong. And I'm not out there doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to do anything illegal. I'm minding my own business. I'm living my life down here. I'm taking care of my business and I don't bother nobody. And I've had, so far, and I'm going to knock on Formica here, this table, I've had zero interactions with the police down here because I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I mind my own business. So that's, you know, always have a pistol and a rifle in reach 24/7. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm going to tell you what. Like I said again, when I go to sleep at night, I reach out this way and I have a pistol right there and I got a rifle on this side and I got a 12 gauge on that side. So any way you slice it, it's probably not a good idea to come in here with bad intentions. That's just, and that's not, like I said, again, it's not being a tough guy. It's not. It's just a matter of, you know, you can judge how free you are by how many guns you are currently carrying. Well, it's not even a matter of that. It's just a matter of you have that right that you should be able to protect yourself. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm armed to the teeth. Not gonna lie. And that's not being paranoid. That's not being scared of squat. If something comes in the middle of the night, and it doesn't even have to be on 2 feet, it could be on 4. Okay, it could be a bear or whatever the case may be. I need to be able to take care of business, and that's why I have it. So, but anyway, listen, Lisa. Topic. The topic is, Lisa, whatever I determine the topic to be. Whatever I'm talking about at the moment is the topic. So, example: cop enter home with no permission, and then they justify it. Yeah, well, that's just it depends on where you're at. I mean, you're not going to that type of. I'm going to tell you guys, in all honesty, down here, it just doesn't happen like that. Especially when you're far out in the country, and I'm far out in the country. So, you know, there are big cats in this area as well. Just like, okay, in New York, they'll tell you there's no big cats in New York. There's big cats in New York. I've seen a Black Panther in New York. Okay, seen it myself many years ago. Saw it one time, but there is definitely sign out there. You can see things. And I told you guys this one time when I was in New York, and only one time it ever happened out on my property in New York. I was there, living there full time for 8 years before I came down here. Can you conceal carry in West Virginia? Yes, West Virginia is open concealed carry, no permit needed, period. You don't have to go get a permit to get permission. You don't have to have a permit that says, oh, I'm allowed to have this gun, and this gun. You don't have to have any of that. It's an it's a constitutional carry state. It's a beautiful state for those reasons. And that's one of the reasons why I picked West Virginia, because it's a big thing, and you see a lot of people down here that carry. And I'm going to tell you what, I've only had one guy say something to me about carrying down here in a negative way. Everybody else has been very positive about me carrying. I had one guy one time buy me lunch um, at McDonald's. We were talking, and and he actually said to me, thank you for carrying. And I said, well, and I explained to him why I do it. At North Carolina, makes you get a permit. Yeah, I was in North Carolina. I lived down there many years ago, and I had a pistol down there when I was down there. But the process down there getting a permit it's easy. So but I have hunted Lincoln, West Virginia for 18 years and have seen Black Panthers. Yeah, there's big cats out here. But like I said, back in New York, I had one time that I went outside, and I was outside, and just like the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I knew there was something out there. And I don't know what it was. To this day, I couldn't tell you what it was, because I took my butt and I got inside. I knew that I was not the apex predator out there. So. Um, Yeah, they also recognize out of state CC permits in West Virginia. Yes. So if you're coming down to West Virginia to visit and you have your pistol permit for whatever state, you can carry down here with no issues. That's why, like, if you see when we do a get together down here, and I'll give you an example, I encourage my members of my group down here to open carry when we're together. Okay. And the reason for that is twofold. Okay. Number one, it gets you comfortable with always having a weapon on you. Okay. And the second thing, it does, when the time comes, when things go sideways, you're not going to be like, oh, do I carry? Do I not carry? Where's my gun? It's just automatic. It's an automatic thing that, like, you get up, you get dressed, and you put your gun on you. Period. End of story. So that's, repetitive stuff. Um, that's why you do it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'll give you another example of something. Okay, one of the things that I practice is drawing and pointing, not even shooting, just drawing and pointing. So when I come out of the holster, and boom, I put, making sure my thumb placement is right, one thumb over the other, doing that. And so I pull and bam, pull and bam, and just, and not shooting at all. It's just that you're mentally training yourself that when the time comes, and if you ever have to, which you hope that you never do. Okay, no, I have not gotten stung yet. Nope, I have not gotten stung yet. But if you ever do, it's automatic. You don't think of, you want to do it so much that it's second nature. It's muscle memory. Yes, muscle memory. Exactly. I couldn't think of it off the top of my head, Freok. So thank you for saying that. So I thought North Carolina was open carry and permit needed for concealed carry. Yeah, I don't know what the rules down there are anymore, because obviously I haven't lived down there in a very, very long time. I was down there in the 90s. So, but yeah, West Virginia, open concealed carry, no permission needed, constitutional carry. So that's very little fights down here. Very, very little fights down here. Very much the communities down here, it's very interwoven, tight knit communities. Being an outsider, it's going to take them time to warm up to you. And, once they know that you're okay and that you're not there causing trouble or trying to be a jerk, you should be okay. So, but, anyway, going into would somebody tell me exactly what the topic of the stream was again that I put up there, because I had some points that I wanted to make because of that, but I can't remember exactly what I put down for the topic. And we've talked about other things already, of course. Imagine that. Oh, don't be fooled. Yes. Okay. All right. I knew I had. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Old age is terrible. It really, really, truly is. And I get off on these side vents and talks, and it happens. There is a tremendous, tremendous amount of distraction, a tremendous amount of manipulation happening on a daily basis. I want you to remember this, okay? The news that you receive, is the news that has been granted permission for you to see. So remember that, okay? It is very, very filtered through, and we're only allowed to see what they want us to see, right? So what an example would be of that, okay? If all of a sudden you had a bunch of people on this group, and I'm not going to make names of, it's the Republicans, it's the Democrats. I'm not going to mention anything like that because it doesn't matter. This group over here is putting out in the news, Russia's great. Russia's the best thing going since sliced toast, when the narrative, right? The narrative is that Russia's bad. So are you think we're going to see a lot of information about Russia being bad? Or are we going to see information about Russia being good? Or China's bad and China's good? What information do you think we're going to see, right? We're going to see the information that has been scripted, brought before us. This is what we want to feed the public, and you are constantly being manipulated. You don't realize it. Again, if you control the news that's put out there, and it's whatever is acceptable to be put out there, that's what is. So a good example after 9/11, okay? Real good example after 9/11. I saw that manipulation of that situation, and it made me sick to my stomach. I'll be honest with you. It really did. It made me sick to my stomach. And it was rah, rah, rah. We got to go over weapons of mass destruction. We got to, get Saddam Hussein. He's the bad guy and all that type of stuff, right? So we saw all that. And people got on board and they're like, yes, rah, rah, rah. A lot of young men joined the service, went over there because they wanted to fight for their country and freedom and blah, 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 blah. Well, we know how that ended up being done. And I'm not going to get into it. You have your own opinions of it, and that's great. But I'm not going to get into that because, like I said, again, I'm not going to give you my honest opinion unless I did it on Rumble. So on Rumble, I would give you my honest opinion. Here, I won't. Okay. So I do have to make some videos for Rumble. There's a couple things that I do want to talk about over there that I can't talk about over here, obviously. But there's always a narrative. And I'm going to tell you what I did after 9/11, guys. I took my flag down. All right. Now I got flags here. I got to get them up. I fly the American flag. I am proud of being an American. I love being an American, but I will not be fooled. I will not be manipulated. I will not get, I'm not going to sacrifice my child or children. Now, Eddie won't go to war because he can't with his autism, right? But Heather could. She could, okay? And I don't want my daughter going to war to fight for any reason, unless it's on America. If somebody invades our country, then I'm going to be right there by her side, okay? But yeah, it's just, I'm not having, I don't want to see anybody's young men and women going off and dying for reasons that are not always what we're told. And that's just kind of, I'll leave it at that. Okay. But there's always going to be manipulation to get us locked in, to get us on, you know, whatever side or whatever agenda that they have. Pearl Harbor would be another great example. Now, there is speculation, and I'm not saying that this is the case, and I'm not saying it's not the case. So please, I'm not saying this is the reason why this happened, but there's been speculation that Pearl Harbor was allowed to happen to get us into the war. Because if you guys, if you do your history, if you look at your history, we were against getting involved in that war. We did not want to be in that war. Okay. We did not want to be in a war. America, the citizens of America said, nope, it's not our fight. It's not our business. We don't want any part of it. Now, we were helping Great Britain at the time with supplies and stuff like that. We were doing that. But the American populace did not want to be involved in the war until Pearl Harbor happened. And then and just like the one Japanese commander said, I think all we've done is wake up a sleeping giant. And that's exactly what they did, because people got galvanized. The hatred, my father was of that era. My father was a World War II veteran, and he hated the Japanese for the rest of his life. He did. He hated them. And, again, you know, the average citizen, I don't care what country, is the average citizen does not want war. All right. It is greed and power and money. And war is great for the economy, as we all know. That's why you see those things happen. All right. But there is a lot of people, again, we are manipulated day to day. We can go to recent events and look at how one narrative was pushed. Any other thought processes on that narrative were shot down. Conspiracy theorists, crazy people, all this type of stuff. And then later on, you find out that it wasn't so crazy, and it wasn't so, whatever labels were put on things. And again, I wish I could get into it on here. I really do, but I can't. So again, that's another topic. I do actually have to do some videos and start getting them up over on Rumble that I can actually talk about, and things that I would love to share with you guys, because there is so many things that we are basically absolutely restricted on here that I can't talk about, or I'll be punished. And that's another thing, going back to my video that I did earlier today. Are we free? Well, if you can't have a dissenting opinion on whatever topic that may be, how is that being free? How is that having free speech? Now, granted, you have the right, you can go, you can film, and you can do all kinds of things. But when you have any platform, be it Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, if they are restricting certain views from being put out there and punishing the people, and doing bans and all that type of stuff on people, giving them strikes and all that type of thing, that hurts. That it really does, because doesn't mean that they're necessarily right. Some things I don't agree with. Okay, I don't like racist. I don't care what color they are. I don't care if they're black racist. I don't care if they're white racist. If you're racist against another group of people strictly because you don't like them, I'm not down for that. I'm not. But I will always, always support your right to spew your rhetoric. And I have the right as a human being to say that's nonsense and that's garbage, and I don't believe that. Okay. So, but unfortunately, young minds are very, very gullible to manipulation. You look at the indoctrination that happens when our young men and women go off to college, right? Because most of the professors in these colleges are going to be very, very liberal. And if you are a conservative kid going into that college, and you actually stand up for your views of what you think, that's you're going to be shot down. You're going to be, singled out and punished because you don't think like the collective. I'm going to always encourage you guys, regardless of what your position is. If you are, and the thing is, it's like they say liberal and conservative, like they're good and bad, like you have, people have different thought processes, and that's fine. And I respect that. I always do. Now, you have the extreme right and you have the extreme left. Those people, in my opinion, either side, the extreme ones that want you to do exactly what they want and that's it, they're nut jobs, in my opinion. They are. They got no place. Now, they can spew their crap and that's fine. We got to do egg count, guys, but that was me, PN1. I was not down with the narrative agenda. Exactly. And I don't blame you. I don't blame. Well, we're going to go ahead. We're going to stop a second here. We're at 420. Imagine that. What number does that remind you? 420. And we got 420 in the chat. We got 213 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do that to show support for the channel. I thank you ahead of time for that. Also, it really makes a huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so egg count time. How many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Thickneck. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Give you guys a minute to get your guesses up there. Okay. Man, I love green tea. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. So I'll give you guys a minute to get your guesses up there, and then we'll get back into our conversation. All right, guys. If you had the same exact guess as Nate Dampier, who's obviously put it up there 1,500 times, maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, with 9 eggs today and no for Miss Thickneck, then you are 100% correct. So congratulations, Nate. You are the winner of the egg count today. So you've won absolutely nothing except for the bragging rights. So congratulations, Nate. You kept putting it up. Boom, boom, boom. I'm just teasing you, Nate. You're good. So congratulations on getting the egg count right. But yeah, they've been laying. They the 2 previous days, it was 10 and 10 both of those days, and Miss Thickneck laid both of those days. So yeah, people that were in my private live stream on Monday, we it took them 2 times to get the right number. I had to give them a second guess, and then yesterday I called Beck and I said, what they? She goes, they did 10 again yesterday, in Miss Thickneck laid. So I kind of had a feeling she wasn't going to lay today, but 9 other eggs. So it is looking like we have a couple of older hens in the flock, and we lost a couple of hens over the winter. So I'll have to go up there. When I go up and look, I'll get a accurate count of how many hens we got. But Becky was like, yeah, I was going to get new chickens, except she got the rooster, only the rooster. She said, I was going to get new hens this year. She said, but, if I'm getting 10 eggs a day, Ed, she goes, that's way more than I need. It makes sense. So, but anyway, so let's get back into what we're talking about here. Again, when I say don't be fooled, I'm going to, again, even people like myself, we're out here, we're putting out our thoughts and our stuff like that. Question what we say. Always question it. Do your research. Do your own research. Look and see, if there's something that doesn't sit right with you, do your own research. Look it up. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I am not going to come on here and BS you guys. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm never going to do that. So you will never hear me say, the end is nigh. You must be ready now. No idea. No idea when it's coming. Do I believe it's coming? I absolutely believe it's coming. You look at everything that is going on, the manipulations that are going on, the saber rattling, if you will, which happens. that's going to go on for a certain length of time. Okay. That's always going to go on for a certain length of time. And then at some point, you're going to have somebody is going to go, let's go to the next step. And then it comes down to, do we retaliate? Do we do something about it or do we not? And so, it's two of my old hens were dead this morning. We have them 10 years. We're both rescues. Wow. That's a good long life, and for a chicken. That's a good long life, you know. Yes, Prep Rebel just put up here, and do not just trust Google. Research many different avenues. That makes absolute sense, yes. Because again, you have to understand, okay, there is an agenda. They want you, and who is they? The people that are in charge, folks, okay? The people that are making the decisions of what's acceptable for you to see. Just like when I was telling you guys, when I was talking to those guys from Ireland, one was from the UK. The other guys were all from Ireland. They're over here for a month to travel and to visit different things and see different things. They were saying, well, the news that we get was certain things about America, because they have to make it look like we're so terrible and so bad with the guns, and oh my God, and thank God our government is so thoughtful to think about that they're taking care of us and protecting us. It's not about taking care of you and protecting you. It's about control. End of the day, it's always about control, because if you are not able to defend yourself, then they have complete and total control. Again, I will always go back to Nazi Germany. They made everybody register their guns, and then they went in and they took them all away. And then the only ones that were allowed to have guns were the military, the police, the secret police, and those folks. And then we see what happened there, right? Don't worry, get on the train. Everything's good. We're just relocating you. Yeah, well, yeah, I ain't never getting on no train. Never going to comply. That's just some of us out there are of that mindset. I am always suspect of everything. I take nothing at face value what I'm told. I will always question. I will always think for myself. Now, some people think that that's a good thing, and some people don't. Manipulation, guys, it's bad. It is bad. You're doing this for other people. That's a great manipulation. Whatever this is. I'm not talking about any certain thing, but I would say on Rumble, okay, but I can't say here. But you're doing this for the good of other people. You're protecting. How dare you not think of others, right? So you better do this thing, or otherwise you're a bad person. So that's manipulation. That is absolutely a manipulation, and that happens a lot, and that works. That works. You're not just doing, well, I don't need to do this. I'm young and I'm healthy, and why should I? Well, you're not doing it just for you. Heaven forbid, you know, grandma gets sick and it's your fault. Again, guys, manipulation is very, very prevalent. It happens all the time. And it is amazing to me how many people are okay with that for your safety. Exactly. Yeah, pet prep radio show. Exactly. You know, it happens all the time. And then boom, puff, like a fart in the wind, right? It's gone, and everybody can go back and do what you did before. Is that how it works, really? Right? I like that terminology. I saw that in a movie. Puff, like a fart in the wind. It's just gone. And everything's back to normal, and you can do what you always did before. Now you don't need to have permission anymore. So, no, most of the soldiers in World War II, the average age of a soldier in World War II was 27 years old or older. Vietnam, the average age of the soldier in Vietnam was 19. So that was where the draft had come in. World War II was a lot of older men were fighting in World War II. A lot of older men. So, but so let's talk about another fun topic. And I don't know how much I can get into things here, but I think it's important. Weather modification. Is it real? Is it not real? Right? The question is, this we know for sure. I'll give you some information that we know for sure. In the 1940s, they were experimenting with cloud seeding, right? That's public information that is out there. Absolutely, yes. Okay. Now, 1940s to 2000, that's 60 years. And now it's 23. So that's 83 years. 83 years. And they started experimenting with cloud seeding back in the 40s. So we're 83 years later. Do you think they just stopped? Do you think that they said, nah, we're not going to mess with that anymore? Or possibly, and again, these are just questions. I'm not saying this is the case. I'm not saying it's not the case. I like to ask questions. I'm very inquisitive. I'm an inquisitive person. Do you think maybe they perfected it, kept it hush hush, and said, let's screw with these guys by doing this, that, or the other thing? Could that possibly be the case? Right? Yeah, Harry Belafonte was 96. I heard he passed away. Yep. So again, there was a lot of talk about that was utilized during the Vietnam War. So, I don't know. Who knows? Again, don't know if it's true. Don't know if it's not true. But like I said, I think that if you were experimenting around with something 80 years ago, and we have a tendency to like to perfect things in America. We like to tinker with things. We like to screw around with it. We like to get it so that it works for the way we want it to. And, it is a possibility. We'll just put it like that. It is a possibility that could be the case. So, whistleblowers. Yeah, let's talk about whistleblowers. I had mentioned Snowden earlier, and that if they ever got their hands on him, that he would go to prison forever. Now he's living in Russia, and he's actually was given Russian citizenship, and I believe he married a woman in Russia and stuff like that too. How sad is it that somebody sees things that they don't believe is right? They don't believe is right, so they feel like, okay, I'm going to take my chance and say, I'm going to tell everybody what's going on, right? But then the government, your government, that was doing things, right, that's now been released. That's what Snowden did, as we know. He was a whistleblower. He gave information out to the public that the public was not supposed to know. Did not put America in a good light, right? But if they ever get their hands on him, he's going to go to jail forever and a day. Ever and a day. Hey, Asif, sad you need to go to Russia to have free speech. Yeah, I think that's absolutely. I don't disagree with that. But they will lock it down, Asif. And thank you very much for the donation, Asif. I do appreciate that. They will lock it down and they will say, national security. Well, and this is again a question. This is a question. I'm not saying that this is happening, but is spying on your own citizenry national security? Right? If you are labeled an adjutant or somebody that's a troublemaker, what about that? That's what I find interesting. What? So did the FBI go after high-profile people? There's somebody that comes to mind, possibly a former president that was investigated that way. Not saying which one. I don't, who knows? It could happen. It could not happen. Always question everything. Question everything. Whatever information you're given, here's something to think about. I want you to think about this, okay? So let's say there's a high-profile person, and I'm going to try. Let's see, who could I use as an example? We'll use Rush Limbaugh. Let's use him. And this is all fabricated. This is not true at all. Okay. But I'm just saying this is a possibility that could be done to somebody. But I'm going to use him because he's a famous person that everybody knows who Rush Limbaugh is. What if the government decides, we got to shut this guy up. We got to shut him down. We have to discredit him. We have to make him look bad, right? So now, what can we do to do that? Well, one of the worst things, you could have all of a sudden they do a raid on his house and they've seized all his laptops and phones, and they come back and they tell you, Joe Average Citizen, Rush Limbaugh had kitty porn, right? Now, most of us, we all have the same feelings on kids being manipulated or used in that way. But they would use that, and I'm not saying that they did, or not saying that they will, or that I'm not saying that it's been done. I'm just saying to discredit somebody, it can be very easily done. There could be nothing on that computer. The speculation that there might be, that's all. A leak came out that there might be kitty porn on his, phone and his laptop and stuff. The court of public opinion is going to eviscerate him. They're going to eviscerate him. And no matter if down the road it is proven, nope, he didn't have any on there. It was a mistake. The leak that was leaked out was wrong. It's not true. He doesn't do that. It's not. There's always going to be people that go, you know what? I'll bet he did. I'm telling you, this is a good example of that. Okay. When you look at David Koresh, I got all these names of these people, and hopefully I'm not going to get flagged for all this, but look how he was torn apart in the press. Okay. Look how he was torn apart in the press. And now I'm not saying that it wasn't true what they were saying about David Koresh, and I'm not saying it was true, but I find it very, very interesting that the people in that town said those Branch Davidians minded their own business. They didn't bother anybody, right? They didn't bother anybody. They kept to themselves. The guys worked. I have a real hard time believing, and this is just me, as a human being, that supposedly David Koresh was sleeping with all the women in the compound, and the guys were not allowed to sleep with the women in the compound, and he had all these kids, and and all this kind of stuff. I'm sorry, but you know what? When I was with my ex-wife, okay, that's my woman. Okay, I don't care what group of people I'm with. I don't care what religion I'm with. The leader of that religion or group is not getting to sleep with my old lady. Not going to happen, because that's going to cause problems. That's going to cause tensions and all that type of stuff. Yeah, well, Jim Jones is a different one. Yeah, it's a whole different kettle of fish there. Yeah, you know, but David Koresh and that group, they weren't bothering nobody. They were just doing their own thing. They had their own thoughts. And don't get me wrong, were they extreme and fringe and all that? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I mean, look what they did in the press with that. And I'm not saying what happened there. I would, like I said, again, that would be another video for Rumble on my thoughts on that whole situation. But again, it was spun a certain way, and a lot of people are going to believe whatever way things are spun. That's what they do. So, but they all agreed to live that way. Yeah, and if that was the case, if that's what they were doing, Dawn, you're right. If that's what they were doing, that is their choice. As long as, like I said, but then they were trying to say that he was sleeping with the kids too. So I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't say definitively yes he was doing this or no he was not. I wasn't there. I have no idea, and so that's kind of where, you know. But I will say this: I have a hard time. I will just put it this way: I have a hard time believing without question what the government's version of things were. I'll put it like that. That's where I stand. As far as that goes. All right. So what are we at? 384 still in the chat. We're at 255 on the thumbs up. So again, I'm going to ask for a thumbs up if you have not done so yet, and I do appreciate that, and thank you ahead of time. Again, it really does make a huge difference with the algorithm. So the more interactions that we get, the better. Let's see if we can hit 300. We're at 256 on the thumbs up, guys. Let's see if we can hit 300 thumbs up. All right. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right. So shout outs. We're going to start out with Icky Can up in Canada. Real good guy. Would ask you to please support him. Really good guy. You have Angry Prepper, and that's Jason down in New York City. Another great guy. Jason's been here a couple times. Real good people. You have Alaska Prepper, and that's Rudy. Real good guy as well. A lot of good information with his channel. You also have Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, two different channels, same guy. Uh, awesome builder up in Canada, doing his homestead up there. Really, really cool to see. So definitely check him out as well. You have Demcad. I like Demcad as well. He's been around a long time. There is Corporal's Corner. You have Bjorn Hansen. There is 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. You have Bizariza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles. Another interesting story. A lot of good information in that story. You have Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out in Seattle. Good channel. A lot of good information there. Definitely check that out as well. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. Another good guy. You have Wranglestar, and that's Cody. He's been around a long time. Definitely show him some support as well. A lot of good information. He does the shorts as well, just giving you quick information, which I think is amazing. Let's see, where was I? Red Poppy Ranch. There's Survival Lily. You have Kyle's Cabin. That is Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota doing their thing up there. Nice young couple. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband-wife team. Two different channels, really good people. The splits their time between Michigan and Alaska. A lot of good information on their channels. You have Green Greg's with Growing. Great channel. A lot of good information about growing, so definitely check him out as well. You have Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. A lot of good information with that, so definitely check that out as well. You have Gray Man Prepping. There's St. Bernard Acres with Joe. You have Doug and Stacy. Doug and Stacy have been around a long time. Really good channel. A lot of great information on their channel, so definitely go and check them out as well. You have the Nomadic Movement. They're down in Panama. Young couple down there living in Panama, doing their thing down there. Really nice channel. You have the Green Dream Project, which is out in Arizona. They're living in the desert. They're showing you how to do it. Really good information with that as well. You have Camping with Steve Wallace, stealth camping. Really fun to watch him. He's a really good guy, very laid back. Bush Doctor Survival. There is Monkey Works. You have the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. A lot of good information, especially canning and cooking and stuff like that on her channel. Definitely check her out as well. Boss of the Swamp. He's been around a long time. Good guy. A lot of good information. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Diamond is a very smart person. A lot of good information on his channel. I would encourage you to watch him. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer. A lot of good stuff. Really, really cool to watch all the solar stuff that he does on that channel. You have Bear Independent, the Uneducated Economist. You have Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. When the volcano was going over there, he was doing videos twice a day. Really, really cool. You have Mary Greeley News. She gives you all the latest updates of the earthquakes that are going on. Anything to do with Yellowstone, she's going to have all that information as well. So definitely check her out. You have Adapt 2030. There's Malachi's Corner. You have Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy to get your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. A really good guy. Definitely gives back to the community in a huge way and very passionate about the weather, so I would ask you to support him as well. Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand. He gives you the information, and then he lets you decide if you like it or not. And that's as simple as that. You have Deep South Homestead, another really good channel, very down to earth, very family friendly channel. Definitely check them out. You have The Outsider. There is The Fit Farmer. You have Prep Rebel. There is Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's. You have The Prepared Mind, formerly of California. I don't know why he would ever want to leave. Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee. East Tennessee Preparedness. The Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little House Off Gritty. They are also down in Tennessee. Really nice young couple doing their thing. So, a lot of good channels out there. There's a lot of good information. I truly do believe we need to be supporting each other. I think that is important. So that's why I do the shout outs. A lot of these people have no idea who I am. Never talk to them. But I think, like I said, again, the prepping and the off-grid community is a small fringe knit group. We are growing as a group. I do feel that as well. So definitely, I think that that's important. And again, I do believe we should be supporting each other. So that's why I do the shout outs. So what are we at? 278. So we need 22 more thumbs up to hit that goal of 300, guys. So let's see if we can do that tonight. You are the only one guy that shares awesome content and creators. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, I think that, again, we should be supporting each other, and, when I got started, there was, nobody gave you a shout out. Actually, when I was already like growing as a channel. I might have been at like, God, I can't remember, like maybe 4,000 subscribers at the time. And Troy Reed from the Do It Yourself world had come to my place, bought my old batteries, which he's still using, by the way, as well. I did see that he's still using that as well. Are you going to make a copy of that list to leave in New York? I'm going to try to remember, Okie Forge, to bring it with me. So that, but anyway, he gave me a shout out back then, and I picked up about 600 subscribers from him, and that was huge for me back then. I was a very small channel, and I was trying to get established and grow. And if I can help somebody else out, then I think that that is a good thing. And so that's why I like to do the shout outs, because not that I'm a huge channel, because I'm not a huge channel, but I'm doing okay. And like I said, I do believe that it's important that we support each other, because YouTube sure isn't supporting us, right? That's very prevalent. Very, you definitely see that. So, but I remember watching you even before you went live. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's I can't even know. I don't remember how long I've been doing live streams. Been doing them for a while. I know that, but you know, Ryan Hall could possibly tell you if we are still doing cloud seeding. Ah, okay. Are you still going to call Heather for the egg count when you're in New York? Yeah, right. Yeah, probably not. I won't. When I go to New York, I guess I won't need to do that then, right? So I watched one of your vlogs from 8 years ago. Yeah, I've been doing this for a while, Ann. Once in a while, I will tell you what. I will go back and I'll watch an old video. Um, you know, uh, one of the videos that really did. I'll be honest with you, really gets me when I go back and watch it. Uh, no, I've been bald the entire time I've been doing the live streams. I've never had hair. I've been shaving my head for like 21 years now. So way before I ever started really doing YouTube or anything like that. So I've been bald the whole time. I've been doing that. The beard, the facial hair changes. That's about it. So, but I went back and I watched with the one video when I announced that I had cancer. And that one, watching that, it's like, wow. Um, then there was a video that I did way back, and I said autism sucks. And it was after I was really sick. I mean, really sick. And Eddie had a particularly bad night, and it was just so frustrating. I was just, and I made a video, that I didn't blame him, I blamed the autism. And so people see that when I say autism sucks, they think that I'm against people with autism, which I'm not. Having a child with autism, it's there was no manual. There was no book that said, okay, here's what it's going to be like for you as a parent with a child with autism. There was no manual. And trying to figure things out. The best way I can describe it is, so that people can understand, if you have a child that has cancer, okay, people are very sympathetic. They want to do anything they can possibly do to help you, and that's the way it is. Okay, if you have a child with autism, and so I'm going to show you the way that it is with that. You have a child with autism, people don't get it. They don't understand it. This kid just flips out for no reason, or what you perceive as no reason. They're not having a behavior for no reason. There's a reason for everything. But people don't want to deal with it. So they avoid you like you have the plague. So those friends that used to come around, and now you have this child that has autism, they are like, I'm out of here because they can't deal with it. They don't know how to deal with it. It's very isolating, I guess. The divorce rate in families with an autistic child is 95%, folks. And I hate to say, unfortunately, you know, that I am one of those casualties of that, unfortunately, because when I married my ex-wife, in my mind, I had married her forever. So, but that was not to be. And do I feel like the autism had a hand in that? Absolutely, absolutely. Very high stress. It's very, very difficult, and it's not easy. You still love your children, but that is not an easy thing to deal with. So, just sharing a little information that you might not know. But Mary Taylor said, "Remember that video I fell for you." Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. So, and Dawn says, "Same here, Ed." Yeah, it sucks. It's not fun. It's not fun. But they're still your child, and they have to be taken care of, and they need to be loved and all that type of stuff. So I'm running my mouth here. We're running out of time. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world, and we need 5 more thumbs up, guys. 5 more thumbs up. In your opinion, why do so many children have autism? Fortune cookie. That will be a video for Rumble. That will be a video that I will talk about on Rumble because I have my thoughts on that. And I don't believe that I am wrong with my thoughts on that. But if I did that here, I would get in big trouble. Janet, BC, Canada. We have Emil's also in BC, Canada. Don Hill in the UP of Michigan. Delbert in the Missouri Ozarks. Tucson, Arizona with Angela. Waterloo, New York with Sharon. New Mexico with Nate. Connecticut with Awesome Sauce. Central Iowa with Robert. Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Troutman, North Carolina with Troy, Greenlee County, Arizona with Codster, Karen in Western New York, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house. We have Kyle in Nebraska, Franklin County, Ohio. We have Ulster Park, New York with Francine. Nate, I already said you're one. Stop putting it up there a million times, please. I already said it. I'm not saying it again. Leesburg, Florida with Joan. Freddie in Virginia, Lake East, Ohio, Fortune Cookie in Pennsylvania, Andrea Schultz in Florida. We have Bearcroft, Romania. Wow, okay, that's cool. The beautiful Pennsylvania Wilds with Pennsylvania Granny, Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Forge, St. Augustine, Florida with Stealth Mode, Vancouver Islands, Point South and East, Prep Rebel in Ireland. Ireland! I like Ireland. Sandusky Bay, Ohio, with T-Star. Bath, England, in the UK, with Brian. Very nice. Glad to have you here. Glad you stayed up to watch us. Lana in East Central Illinois. Carlise in the UK with Anne. Again, thank you for staying up late and watching us. Morning Light in West Virginia. West Central Ohio. Rock and Rod in Plattsburgh, New York. Very nice. So, Nate, I don't want you to think I'm picking on you, but when I've already said where you're from, it just makes it more hard because I'm trying to get everybody else's place in here as well. So I don't want you to think that I'm picking on you, Nate, because I love you. And you're the egg winner tonight, the egg count winner. And you put that up 150 times too. I'm teasing, so just don't take it personal. Teacher strike tomorrow. Wow. So anyway, guys, we are all over the country. We're all over the world. We are a huge, huge network of people. We need to realize we are, there's a lot of us out there. There's a lot of us out there all over the place. Yeah. That's funny. Nate says 9-0. Come on now. Don't be picking on Nate. I can pick on Nate. It's okay. So Nate is feeling high and mighty since he's a winner. Oh my God. Now everybody else is picking on Nate too. I'm sorry, Nate, that you're getting hammered a little bit, but only in a playful way. I hope you realize that. So anyway, guys, I want to thank my moderators again who do a fantastic job keeping the chat clean. Very much appreciated. It is awesome. Keeping the chat clean. It means a lot to me, ladies and gentlemen that moderate for me. So thank you for what you guys do. Thank all you guys for being here too. It's a lot of fun. These are awesome chats, and I appreciate it. And that's why I'm here. I do enjoy these. Hopefully, I make you think. That's number one. That's the number one thing I want to do in any of these talks is make you think. The second thing that I want to do is have you not be a victim, to be proactive, to help yourselves, to work on getting things squared away, to take care of your families. And I think that's more important than anything else, to be honest with you. So anyway, remember, folks, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. It really, really important that we realize that we stop letting them manipulate us, because that is constantly what has happened. That's another thing that is being done constantly to keep us fighting amongst each other so that we never come together and work together. So that is important. All right. So race, religion, political affiliation, they don't mean squat. They mean nothing. You have the right to your opinion. You have the right to your views. Okay. But we should not be fighting over stupid little things that mean nothing at the end of the day. All right. What political affiliation you are is not going to feed you at the end of the day. So that's something to think about. Also, remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only person that is going to stop you from achieving your goals is you. That's it. Nobody else. Don't listen to negative people telling you what you can't do. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, they get done. They get done. I am a living, breathing example down here when I was in New York. The number of times people told me, you can't get this done. And my reply was always the same, folks. Watch me. Okay. Watch me down here. See what we get done. See what we get accomplished. We will get things done. Things are going to come together. And before you know it, we are going to have an awesome homestead here that is going to be a safe haven for a lot of people when the time comes. And that we are not only going to survive what's going to happen, but we are going to thrive on the other side of that. And that's the key. It's not just about surviving. I mean, like I see people will say, oh, I don't want to survive what's going to happen. It would be horrible. It's only if you let it be horrible. It doesn't have to be. Will it ever be like it is now? No. But that's not always a bad thing. That's not always a bad thing. So just work at things and it gets there. Okay. Be safe, everybody. Have a great night. And we got past 300 easy. We're at 314 on the thumbs up. So that's cool. But take care of your business. Okay. And keep prepping. Keep prepping. Have a great night. Be safe. And I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.